You know when it feels like the universe is speaking directly to you via the entertainment that you watch? Yeah, that was Lost for me. I was about to have my own Locke crash out, but I think watching that show kind of saved my life. Okay, that's a bit dramatic, and I think I clickbaited you a little bit. It didn't save my life, but it did help me get through a really big turning point in my journey to creating my dream life. The thing about changing your life is that you hit this like middle point, like a dip. It's the point where most people quit, and yet a 20-year-old TV show helped me keep going. Hi guys, I'm back with another sit down chatty kind of video. It's been exactly 1 month since I posted my first ever YouTube video where I decided to spend 300 days creating my dream life. And oh my god, the support I felt after posting that video. I just knew I was in true alignment with myself. Posting on YouTube has been an actual childhood dream of mine. I've dreamt of doing it since I was in high school. I've watched YouTube for 15 years now, I think. Clicking upload just made my inner child so happy. For the first day, I maybe had 20 views on that video, and yet I was just so happy. I felt like I accomplished everything I set out to do. The amount of happiness that filming, editing, and uploading brought me was enough for me to be so sure that this is exactly what I needed to be doing with my life. The next day, I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw that my video was on 100 views, and I got my first ever YouTube comment. Oh my lord, I was so scared. I thought it was going to be a hate comment, so I quickly went to check. But it was this absolutely lovely comment that said, "Loved it and you're going to blow up." That made my day, it made my week, it made my month, my whole year, my whole life. I was just on such a high. That was such a nice feeling. And then my video hit 1K, and then it hit 5K, and then it hit 10K and 50K. I was speechless, like genuinely so speechless. So many of you watching are going through such a similar journey, and it made me feel so much less alone knowing that you're all going through it too in your own ways. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your support. I love seeing you all get back in the driver's seat of your life and just make it amazing. It's super inspiring, and I'm rooting for all of you. You make me so proud. I just know that we're destined for great things by just deciding to change things up. Although it's been a month since I started my 300-day challenge, this video isn't an update. I am working on that. I just have so much more that I have to say. This month has been a roller coaster in and of itself. Somehow I feel like I've made a lot of progress, and at the same time I feel like I've made none. Maybe it's because I haven't yet edited that vlog to see that growth happen. Either way though, I feel so much more sure that this is exactly what I need to be doing. The path ahead, it's still a little bit foggy, but I have this inner knowing that it's working out for me. Today's video is not about the past month. It's a little bit more on my experience last year where I basically almost gave up once again. And I feel like I have to talk about this because it was so pivotal in my journey to get to where I'm at now, which is a lot more clarity and certainty and seeing results. I had to go through the last 6 to 8 months, and that experience got me to where I'm at now. So you make this massive life decision, you have all this euphoria, all this motivation, so much energy and excitement, and then you're not seeing results. You're not seeing any change. You're not seeing any tangible outcomes. And so you start to doubt yourself, and you start to feel, is this what I should be doing? This is a little bit hard. I'm not seeing any results or success. Is it worth it? All of that excitement and that euphoria of making that big decision starts to wane, and doubt starts to creep in. And this is that period where most people quit. Most people give up. I almost gave up. I suggest watching that first video I posted if you haven't already seen it, because it gives a lot more context. Basically, I was working for many years. I wanted to leave my job and start a freelance path for myself in design and in content. I started experiencing a lot of health problems and a lot of anxiety. And so I ended up taking another 9-to-5 job because of all the stress that I was feeling. And then a couple of months later, I was burnt out and I ended up leaving that one too. Around the time when I left my second job in September last year, I had just gone on a trip to New Zealand. I just got proposed to on that trip. I was on such a high, and coming off of that trip, I had so much clarity. I just knew that this job was not right for me. This path was definitely not right for me. I don't know why I caved and did it again. And I felt like that cycle just repeated itself. But this time I just had so much more sureness that I needed to leave and I needed to do something different. On the final day of that job, I was in such bliss. I was in utter bliss. It was like a bird had been let out of their cage. It was like the shackles had been taken off me and I was free. And I don't know why I felt like that, because I actually hadn't resolved all the issues in my life. Like I hadn't figured out what my next path was. I hadn't figured out where my income was going to come from instead. I hadn't figured out what my true passion was in life. I hadn't figured out any of those things, but I felt right. I felt like, nah, this is the right decision. This is exactly what I need to do. I can't be here anymore. I just felt amazing, and that made me sure that I was on the best path for myself. This time leaving, I felt this kick up my butt to make it happen. Like at any cost, make this happen. I have to give it my all this time, and I have to just make it stick. I was gonna become a freelance designer. I was gonna become a content creator. I was gonna do it all, and I was gonna actually make a plan this time, a strategy, and have a routine and still have purpose and a drive and a goal. I had made enough money to support myself for a little bit. This time I had learned a lot when it comes to finances, so I was a bit more strategic and a bit more careful. So many sessions with ChatGPT to figure out what it is I wanted to do with my design studio. How am I going to get this off the ground? What am I going to do with content? What kind of content do I want to post? Where do I want to post? How frequently? I just made plans and I stuck to them. I started posting content. I helped my mum launch her small business. I had started my design studio. I made myself healthier in every way, physically and mentally. I was spending my free time doing the things that I always said I didn't have enough time and energy for. And life was awesome for 2 months. And then I hit the dip. That was a point where things started to get really hard. It was super difficult to sustain the motivation, keep holding the faith. I started completely doubting myself. It felt like things just kept going wrong. I started to believe that it just wasn't going to happen for me. Like, what's the point? It was like, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much effort I put in, no matter how much faith I had in myself, it was like it was for nothing, because nothing was changing. Nothing was happening. I didn't see any success or results. I guess maybe I expected my life to change straight away, but it just doesn't. The bills kept adding up. The views were still low. The sales were slowing down. Design gigs were essentially non-existent. It was Christmas and I felt no joy. Life was just meh. It's like you spend 3 months dedicated to your dreams and then nothing comes of it. I was questioning my choices, my purpose. I was questioning if things were actually going to lead somewhere, like all this effort was going to take me to the place I wanted to be. I started losing faith in my path, and somehow Lost met me exactly where I was. I had started watching it with my mum when I became fun employed. Oh my goodness, I am late. Like 2 decades late. I'm such a TV show girly, and this show is exactly the kind of show that I love. A bit of mystery, a bit of drama, a bit of fantasy, early 2000s. The pilot and that first season had me hooked. The characters, the mystery, the score. Chef's kiss, phenomenal show. And such a good show for the spiritual girlies too, because the repeating numbers, this like magical island, the faith versus science debate, belief in like a higher purpose or a higher power, alternate timelines. Oh, such a good show. The moment that it met me at my journey, and what I'm yapping about is actually season 2, and in particular the season finale. Obviously about my 2 favorite characters, the baddies, John Locke and Desmond Hume. Those 2 actually carried the show, in my honest opinion. Some of the best episodes were about them. Both Locke and Desmond were in their own way chasing like a form of destiny. Both of them needing to know that the things that they were doing and the things that they had sacrificed all meant something. When Locke lost faith, like in his search for meaning on the island, and that all of his actions were leading somewhere, it like word for word, bar for bar mirrored all of my doubts. And on the exact same day where I was just feeling all this accumulation of just, what's the freaking point? I was so fed up with life that day. I was about to give up on everything, on optimism, on spirituality, law of attraction. I did not give a shit. I was over it. It's not even working. I was done. I was frustrated. I was losing hope. And then I watched the season 2 finale, Live Together, Die Alone. Desmond finds the log, the proof that pushing the button was real, that every 108 minutes he was actually saving the world. And the night that he didn't, the plane crashed. So it was never for nothing. And both John and Desmond helped each other to not give up. What Locke and Desmond did for each other was exactly what the show Lost did for me. When Locke was like banging on the hatch, I did everything you wanted me to do. So why did you do this to me? He was so real for that. And at the same time, Desmond was like ready to blow his fucking brains out. Both of them just restored each other's hope. Beautiful, beautiful writing. It was so emotional and so powerful and so raw and so real. The letter from Penny, oh man, I did not realize how much I needed to hear that. Please don't give up, Des, because all we really need to survive is just one person who loves us. Bro, that feeling of despair and anguish that both of them were feeling, we've all been there. We've all been the ones fucking banging our hands on the hatch door. And some of us just need to wait for that light to turn on. It's like the show was speaking to me. It told me everything I needed to hear in that exact moment I needed to hear it. It took me out of the spiral and it like created a rope that helped me get through that dip to the other side. Because if I hadn't watched that and if I hadn't heard that or seen all of that, I would have given up. The thing is though, that dip, like I said, it's where everyone stops, it's where everyone gives up, and you're trying so hard and you're nowhere near the finish line. You're just like, I'm tired, Grandpa. And it was so hard for me to keep going and yet so easy for me to turn back. But there's nothing back there. There's nothing. So easy to go from doubt to bitterness to thinking like you're stupid to believe that things could work out and things could be better. But eventually though, if you push through, you start to see the signs that it was all worth it. You see glimpses that it was all for a reason. All I can say is just keep going. Enjoy the process, all of the journey, the highs and the lows. It's all worth it. It will all make sense in the end. Just keep going. If you stop though, it's over. So don't quit. Just don't quit. Faith isn't about proof. It's about choosing to believe even when you can't see it. And just remember to be patient when you're becoming someone that you've never been before. Never quit something with great long-term potential just because you can't deal with the stress of the moment. You got this, guys. I hope you have your own lost moment. Anyways, see you in another life, brother.